Thank you very much. Farmers, the Pechakucha is Japanese for if you take longer than 20 seconds, you will have an electric jolt go through your hand. Please situate yourself so you can see the slides in whichever direction you are. You don't go home with a sore neck. And farmers markets everywhere are on a mission to combine two things: great food and great food experiences. Both of them are equally important. And I believe that Kitchener can help lead the way, not only here but elsewhere, for the new direction in farmers markets. And I'd like to share with you what I've learned from over the last 3 months. I've subscribed to Google Alerts, which sends you out every story of the day on farmers markets, and I'd like to share with you what's going on around the world in terms of new ideas. So, farmers markets and cities were invented together about 3,000 years ago, and these are the remains of market stalls in ancient Athens, where Socrates and Plato used to talk philosophy and politics at the same time as vendors of fish and olive oil and wine were yelling around them. And this is Jacob Shea, or Shantz, who some of you have heard of, the founder of Kitchener's Farmers Market in 1869. And farmers markets, city halls, and churches were once right in the thick, right in the center of all cities. But in the 1950s, supermarkets almost put public markets out of business, and they put the business of buying food in shopping plazas away from the center of public affairs and community. And as a result, farmers markets really took a huge dive, but they started to bounce back in the 1990s, as you can see from this slide, in the United States, where the rise has been the sharpest, for the simple reason that in the United States, unlike in Canada, the federal government and their state governments, or our provincial governments, are strongly supportive of farmers markets and give a lot of money to make them successful. In Canada, it's been fast, but not quite the same speed. Markets help connect people, community, and food. And having a public purpose is, in my opinion, a do-or-die business for farmers markets, for this simple reason. In the World Trade Organization, which runs how trade is managed around the world, it is illegal to discriminate, to use public resources or government resources and discriminate against global corporations and in favor of local family businesses unless there is a strong public purpose. So if farmers markets don't have a strong public purpose, the WTO could literally shut them down on the grounds that you've got to give Kraft and other big corporations equal access to this space. So it's a very important concept behind the public purpose of farmers markets. Around the world, farmers markets are going up, but they are also changing, because I think the people involved with them know you can't just rest on your laurels and say, whatever, we're hankering for the good old days. And so what's happening is meetings like what are happening here now. People are looking for what are new services, what are new contributions to the community, new ways to add value, new ways to bring new people. And so people are thinking big about how to do that everywhere around the world. One little thing that's happening is that more and more markets are becoming winter markets. There was a time not that long ago, they only existed in the summer, selling fresh produce. But now people are thinking, this is a habit we want people to keep year-round, not break it up and break the momentum. And it's not just about fresh produce, it's about people connecting to food directly, and especially to the food producers. In the US, just to give a difference between there and here, health organizations very actively promote farmers markets and actively bring their prestige in the community over to the farmers market for a couple of reasons. One is they want to encourage more people to eat more fruits and vegetables, and also because they want to encourage more people to cook from scratch. And so to do that, you got to buy ingredients from a farmer's market that you cook from scratch from. And that way you get a benefit to both physical health and mental health, because families are brought closer together around meals. Now, shopping for food, as you know, unlike buying a car or a computer or Chesterfield, is something that everybody does almost every week. And that's why food has always been the anchor for shopping plazas, and why food markets are the anchor for downtowns to rejuvenate them, is because that's a common activity. And it's also why community organizations often orient towards farmers markets and try to participate in them, because they know that's where they're going to bump into people quite frequently. But here's the big challenge, I believe, to farmers markets. It's not prices, that the prices are sometimes not as competitive to discount supermarkets, and it's not parking. It's that the challenge to farmers markets is that people do not buy ingredients to make dinner with. They buy something that you can heat and eat. And so for farmers markets to succeed, people need to cook. They need to enjoy cooking and take pleasure from it and see it as a fulfilling activity. And so increasingly, what you're finding is that farmers markets are encouraging, they're having cooking competitions, chefs competitions, cooking lessons, and all of that kind of thing, because that really is the future of the farmers market. Now, build it and they will come does not always work. And so some markets are traveling to where the people are, especially if the people are seniors, which is an increasingly large section of the population, people with disabilities, and other people who are excluded from conventional purchases. So this is a thing that people are thinking about, even in relationship to farmers markets, that right after the market has shut down in the early afternoon, you can move things that are left over to another community through a mobile bus. And Saturday and Sunday morning were once times that everyone had free, but now they're increasingly times where lots of people are involved in something they got to be at, like a job. And so farmers markets are also making a switch to open not just on Saturday morning or Sunday afternoon, but Thursday night or Friday night. And they're often linking that with some other fun event, like a concert or something like that. And the idea is, I think, kids play with their food. Why shouldn't adults play with their food too? Food and art have been kissing cousins really since the days of cave paintings, or in the Renaissance when still life painting was developed. And so it's logical that art is becoming part of farmers markets. There's free space, and photography exhibits are being held there, art exhibits, buskers play, and increasingly there are pop-up concerts and operas that are happening right in the heart of farmers markets. The successful farmers markets are all working very hard to be youth-friendly and student-friendly. And they're finding that markets can be classrooms without walls, that many parts of the school curriculum can be addressed by taking somebody on a tour of the farmers markets. And if the kids enjoy it, they then ask their parents to come and visit the market when it's shopping time. Now, most of the downtowns in most cities need a little tonic. And farmers markets are becoming popular among planners because it's believed that they can be that tonic. And the more the merrier is the rule, I believe, between the vendors in a farmer's market and the vendors in the rest of the main street. In Canada, farmers market sales come to $1.3 billion a year in direct sales at farmers markets. And if you put it through the multiplier effects, it comes to $3 billion, which in my opinion is a lot of tonic and something we can really add to the community. New factory and office jobs are increasingly hard to come by, and food and agriculture have become across Canada the number one employer. And markets provide not only direct jobs, but also in terms of young people, they provide an opportunity to learn about food and about work for the next generation of food workers. That's another important contribution I think that markets make. And when markets help people connect, they also combat loneliness. And it's not often known how important loneliness is, that it's as damaging to health as smoking a pack and a half of cigarettes a day. So when farmers markets vendors strike up a friendly conversation with someone, as is happening here, they're actually making their little contribution to a gigantic mental health issue across the country. Placemaking is the new buzzword among city planners, and that is, how do you make a place that people really feel comfortable in? And they're asking, what's the better hub for placemaking than the original marketplace, where place was first used? Now, how many people does it take to change a light bulb? It actually doesn't matter, because the light doesn't go on until lots of people share the bright ideas, which is what tonight is about. And I am inspired by a concept that comes from the Project for Public Spaces, which is called the Power of 10. And their argument is that every great place must have 10 reasons to visit it. Okay, just having one or two functions is not enough. You need to get it up to 10. So what I'd like to ask you to do later tonight is to give me 9 good reasons, beside buying food, which is the 10th, why someone should keep coming to the Kitchener's Farmers Market. Thank you very much.